I'd like to invite you aboard Pura Vida, my 36-foot center cockpit 2000 model Beneteau. As you enter down the companionway steps, you'll notice a settee, port side and starboard side, table closed and table open. Port and starboard side have windows that are actually part of the hull. It's pretty neat to be sailing and be able to look straight down into water. See that on again. Under the port settee, there's storage, and there's also a hot water heater, and then valves, water valves to switch, allow you to switch tanks. Under the starboard side settee is a little bit of storage, but mostly a water tank. I believe there's a 40 gallon water tank under this side. There's also a 70 gallon water tank in the V berth. If you go to your starboard side, of course, navigation station, and then one of the things I really like about this is a walk-through head. You have a shower, you have a sink, of course the head, a little bit of storage over there. If you want to take a shower head comes out from the sink. Air conditioner vent filter in this location. And then there's a little storage, and also the black water storage tank is kept in this area. Something we really like about our boat, being at the center cockpit, you have a large aft captain's quarters. Captain's quarters has a near queen size bed, I guess you could call it. Also a seating area. Has two hanging lockers, pretty good size hanging lockers. Another one on the starboard side. Okay, I'm sitting at the very rear of the boat, kind of leaning over the bed, and you can see the view forward. On the port starboard side, the head, as I mentioned, and we'll walk around to the galley in just a minute. Go out through the galley. The aft cabin actually allows for you to walk completely around the engine room. Also have our little TV with Wi-Fi hooked up, and that's Netflix, I believe. Of course, one of the things I really like about this aft cabin is kicking back and watching a little tube. And I have a very high-powered antenna at the top of the mast, an omnidirectional TV antenna. I pick up TV stations probably from 80 miles away. Okay, coming back around to show the galley, I'm going to start from the companionway steps, walking to the port side. You'll see the galley. First off, you see is a two burner gimbaled stove, squeaky floor. That one panel squeaks. I need to put some wax on it. But anyway, the double sink, and then there's a freezer, refrigerator, and plenty of cabinetry underneath, plenty of storage, a nice cabinet top right here. And then of course this leads, as I mentioned earlier, to the aft captain's quarters. Much of the floor of the boat lifts up in panels like this for storage. We have quite a few things, but you can plenty of room for storing canned goods or beer cans or beer bottles or whatever you want. This is throughout the boat. We have vacuum cleaners stored. We have all kind of safety equipment stored, but it's really convenient to have that type of storage under the deck itself. All right, this is the access to the engine compartment. Actually, there's a front and a rear engine access. All right, we're going to dive into the engine compartment. The engine compartment can be accessed by lifting the companionway steps, removing the bottom step. Okay, here's the engine compartment. You can see all the way through to the other side. Engine is a 3GM 30F Yanmar. The battery bank is made up of four 6-volt golf cart T105 Trojan T105 batteries, approximately 475 amp hours. There's also a separate engine starting battery. I've added an engine access light. It's an LED also. The air conditioner is a Cruise Air 16,000 BTUs. It easily keeps the boat cool even during the 100-degree summer days. Alternator is about a 90 amp charger. The shore power charger is a 20 amp. Of course, you can see a variety of items coming off the engine. This wire here is nothing but a mechanical gauge, temperature gauge. I'll always know what the temperature of the water in the motor is. This hose, this long hose, goes back to the hot water heater. As the engine's running, it heats up the fresh water in the hot water heater. So always have a nice warm shower. All right, what you see here is an MPPT solar charge controller. This is actually the charger for the solar panel. Solar panels connect to this, and this MPPT charger is a smart charger. It actually is very efficient in charging your batteries. Also, these switches are set up in a special way. This, of course, is just the negative commons. It stays on all the time. What I have here is an emergency start, and actually what it is if for some reason the starting battery is not strong enough, you turn this switch and it'll allow the house batteries to start or to connect to the starter battery, which will allow you to start the engine off the house and the starting battery. This switch right here just turns the house batteries off and on. I leave it on all the time. Also in the same area is a breaker switch for the electric windlass. And also you'll see the Victron battery monitor. It's a very valuable little device. It shows you your house volts at all times. Right now the house volts, it's 13.12 volts. You make selections here. Time to go. If you were on a running straight off your batteries, time to go means you have 240 hours left before your batteries go out. That's a max. State of charge is 100%. Consumed energy over a period of time, we've consumed nothing because we're hooked up to the shore power at this time. And then it's actually this is the voltage in or out, negative 60, negative 45. We're obviously using a little bit more than we are charging now. It's going up to 1.35 positive, so it's basically at zero. It's bouncing around because we're using a little bit, and it'll charge it back up real quickly. But a very valuable item on any boat that lives off house banks. Next area of the boat contains the navigation station, including master switches. I'll go through these and some of the instrumentation. First off, on the instrumentation, on the gauges, the left side is all 12-volt lights, cabin lights, outside deck light, front deck light, stemming light, anchor light, and then nav lights. In the middle is a water pump, a bilge pump, refrigerator, VHF, instruments, and then the gas. Then I've added a few of these little switches over here. This is P light, means purple light, little purple light we've added, a little LED light we've added. Turns the radar on. This is the power amp for the antennas, autopilot, stereo. Some of the 110 gauges are included right here. The main, of course, the breaker, the water heater if you're going by 110, battery charger, and the AC outlets, and then the air conditioner, some extra outlets and such. Of course, just to the right of the navigation station is AM/FM radio, a VHF radio. Of course, this is also hooked via RAM mic to the exterior. Added this little door because this was some old instruments that I pulled out, and had a big hole here, so made me I found a little door, a little used door, added it to it. Gives me access to the back of this these items, back of this instrumentation board. And below navigation station, just a few other things, some switches, added 110 volts. There's a little chair down below. I keep some tools down below. Okay, working my way forward towards the V-berth. First off, on the bulkhead, you can see a nice clock given as a gift from some dear friends, and also notice this bulkhead will actually open, giving you a full view window if you choose to have a window. Opens it. It does open up the place a little bit more. Entering the V-berth, first off, there's a hatch above with a solar paneled ventilation fan. A little bit of storage. Both side, port and starboard side, have a port light, and also hanging lockers. Plenty of storage. There's some storage, a good chunk of storage under the bed, and also is a water tank. Again, hanging lockers, port and starboard side. Pura Vida has all LED lights. See, I've added these dome lights. Every one of them, it's not on, are separate LED lights. Everything on Pura Vida, exception of a few lights that I left behind, are all LED. These little dome lights, that the advantage of these is all four of these used to be hooked to one circuit. Well, they're still hooked to one circuit, but I've turned that circuit on, and added separate switches with each one of these lights added. Really lights the place up pretty good.